Hello, I would like to inform you that what you're about to listen to are our views and comments from the hosts and guests that only reflect their own view and not the community's as a whole. You're also committing to hire us at some point in the future, whether or not you want to or you like our work. I hope you enjoy the podcast. And Eddie, play the banter section.
I tripped over my tongue. How can you trip up your own tongue? I never understood that phrase until now. But anyway. Hello, everybody. This is Ed Talks About Podcast.
You tripped over your own tongue because I was going to interrupt you.
You're going to do something like that. I'm going to keep going. Hello, everybody. Okay. This is Ed Talks About Podcast.
Power through, Ed. You can do this.
I can do this. Yes. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, why do I keep inviting you onto this podcast?
Anyway, I don't know. It's been long enough that you'd forgotten. That's why I'm back again.
It has been long enough. I've not been invited onto your podcast recently or
I've told you, when you listen to the podcast that you were on, then you can come back.
You know, I'll never listen to that podcast to the day I die. Even when I'm dead and you can play it in my coffin, no.
Bold of you to assume that we're not just going to leave you out for the wolves, but okay.
Yay, I'm useful. Yay! Hello, everybody. This is Ed Talks About Podcast, a weekly podcast about cosplay, Comic-Con, and everything else. I'm your host, Eddie, and this week we are unscripted for the month of March of 2024.
Do you take notes? So maybe mix up the intro a little bit. Maybe do it in like a soft jazz sort of version in future. Go, hello there. This is the. Hello.
Let me just bring some music out. How's that?
Yeah, it's a bit like that. You go. Hello out there in podcast land. This is the Ed Talks About podcast, podcast where we talk about cosplay and everything else. I'm not your host, Eddie.
No. It's cosplay, Comic-Con, and everything else. You can't forget the Comic-Con bit.
Well, I mean, when was the last time you went to a Comic-Con?
Probably sooner than you did.
I don't know, actually. When was the last time I went to a con?
February.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
And the time before that, January.
Wow, man. Do you not have a life?
Shut your mouth. And the time before that, December 2023.
Ooh. I think you might have a problem, mate.
And the time before that, guess when? That's right, October.
Oh, wait, so none of November, hey? November's not good enough for you, huh?
Not that I can remember. Oh, Jesus. Oh, let's not talk about the amount of Comic-Cons I'm going to.
How's your backlog anyway, Eddie?
I just take some support stories and that's... No, is it support stories? No. I think I've ruined that joke. But yeah, pills for it. Yeah, and that's all flushed through now. Ooh, yes.
Yeah.
Don't look at me like that. Don't look at me like that. You know...
I mean, you're the one equating your podcast, your photos to bowel movements. I'm just saying,
Yes.
That was a choice that you made there.
That is very true. That's the choice I made. And yet I don't regret it.
This is getting cut out.
Oh, it's not. Trust me, it's not. Anyway, I should be continuing my little intro. Joining us on the podcast is Andy of Hood Cosplay. Welcome to you.
That's a name I've not heard in a long time. Time.
Do I just call you Andy then?
Well, you can do. I mean, I do still have a cosplay page for Hood Cosplay, but as you have just alluded to, it's been a while since I put anything up on there. When was the last time I actually did a con? I mean, I did Vegas in August of last year, and then I went to a Comic-Con as well. But I don't think I did October MCM. So yeah, it's been a while.
You going in May?
Possibly. I'm going to Lawless in May, which is the same weekend, but I might try and get along to the Friday. But we will see how it is. I mean, I gather there are certain activities taking place in this one, which we might have a discussion on your podcast extra about.
But, I have no idea what you're talking about. No spicy thing that I've heard about. No, nothing.
Okay, nothing at all. No, I guess people will have to listen to the podcast extra to find out what spicy things we may or may not be talking about.
Hang on, this sounds really weird that we're doing the spicy thing. We're not doing the spicy thing.
So I shouldn't have this rope here with me? Okay, fine.
No, that's fine. I mean, it's either we're not.
Oh, so it's fine. It is fine.
No, wait. It's either it sounds like we're doing the spicy thing or we're cosplaying as Spice Girls.
Well, tell me what you want. What you really, really want.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, by the way, get it out of the way now. Just get it out of the way now, because you know you want to say it.
What could you possibly be referring to, Eddie?
You know the Star Wars thing I fucking hate. Just get it out of the way.
I've already done my Star Wars quote. It's fine.
When?
Well, that's a name I've not heard in a long time.
Oh, Jesus
Long
Christ. Oh, no.
You should watch Star Wars more often, then you know what we're talking about.
Oh, fuck off. You know I hate Star Wars. You can fuck right off.
Yes. Yes.
No,
Let
don't
the
say
hate flow through you.
I don't know what's worse.
Use your aggressive feelings, boy.
You and your Star Wars quotes, or you in that fucking voice for your Formula One podcast that you do.
I don't know what voice you're talking about.
For those who don't know,
I don't need to know.
This is apparently the voice of a certain... Is he a billionaire or millionaire?
Well, I think billionaire, given the amount of money he's had. But look, you watch Drive to Survive. He sounds like that.
I actually haven't watched Drive to Survive, the latest one. I think I've given up because it's so manufactured, the drama and all that. So yeah, I gave up. But yes, I have seen clips and I've gone, oh God, he does sound like that. Yes, Lawrence Stroll does sound like that.
No one listening to this has a clue what we're talking about right now.
I think one person will do.
I'm here. I'm actually here on the podcast. I'm not going to listen to this back. I'm already on it, so...
So hang on. Did I get that right? So if you appear on someone else's podcast, you don't have to listen to it?
Yeah.
So me appearing on one of your podcasts, I don't have to listen to it. I have a choice to not listen to it.
Yes, just the same way I have a choice not to invite you on until you have.
What?
Yes.
I generally heard the word warranty, and I'm like, what?
What?
I swear I used the word warranty. I have to listen. When I edit, I'm going to listen to it. I'm going to listen to the word you just said and go, oh, that's what he said. If you don't repeat what you just said.
Well, that's something to look forward to when you get to the editing, isn't it?
Oh, God damn it! I'm just checking my blood pressure. Yep,
I apologise to the listeners out there. This is far from our best podcast.
No, it really is, and I still don't know why I've invited you, because you always do this to me. Always. Anyway, as I was saying, this is a unscripted podcast. There's basically anything goes. Anything goes! I know what I just did. Shut up. Anyway. And basically, we'll just spout anything that comes to our mind. It doesn't have to be cosplay or Comic Con. We can talk about anything. Just something that you want to talk on out of your brain. And I now remember one of the things I was going to talk about, actually.
Huzzah!
Huzzah! Huzzah! So I was going to say, let's brainstorm. Both. Okay. This is the section 1. So I'll go first, clearly, because I don't want to keep forgetting. So I was going to say, let's brainstorm the 2 events that's going to happen within the next 6 to 8 weeks. Right. So I always do an April birthday podcast. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yes. And there's a slight significant number coming up on the horizon. I'm getting to podcast 200 soon. So you know, really? I did that. Yes. Besides 1 week, I've and Christmas, I've produced a podcast once a week.
Wow, that's a lot of fucking work.
Oh, tell me about it. Almost 200 fucking podcasts, listening to my own voice and listening to your bullshit every so often.
It's no wonder the quality's gone right down the toilet, isn't it?
Really? Wait, what? No, the quality's not been that bad, has it?
You tell me.
I don't want to. Because it makes you right then, and I don't like when you're right.
Continue.
Anyway, so I was thinking, I don't know if I should do what I usually do. So I think this will be the 4th edition of my birthday podcast. Let me just check, actually. Please hold callers. No, wait. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, this will be the 4th one. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because you started doing this in 2020 during lockdown, didn't you?
Yes, and 2020 lasted 36 months. So, so I did one in 2020. Yeah, 2020. No, yeah, starting 2020. So the first one would have been 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024 will be the 4th one. Yes. So in all editions, I've picked 2 guests, but
Yes.
rather than me asking them questions, they can ask me questions.
Okay.
Yes. What do you think that as a format? Still, should I continue that little that format?
As with anything on the podcast thing, is do you enjoy doing it?
I mean, yeah. I mean,
So if you enjoy it, continue.
just continue it.
Yes.
No, but is there other things I could celebrate? I mean, the one thing I was planning to do, but the people that I was going to do it with have stopped podcasting now, so I can't do that anymore. Which I was going to do like half and half of a recorded podcast and then an Instagram live by taking that audio into the podcast as an episode as well.
But has someone ceased podcasting since then?
They have, but I don't know if they actually stopped, and I haven't asked them directly because I don't want to. I don't know if something happened, and I don't want to like provoke anything. I'm going, has something happened? Can I? No, okay, all right. I'll just step back. Don't know what this high voice for. I don't know what I'm doing. Voice.
It's like George Russell's in the room with us.
Oh, that's another. What's his name? That's another Formula One reference, just in case there's anyone who wanted to know.
They don't.
So they don't know. Yeah.
No.
No, I'm starting not to like it. I swear your podcast, your Formula One, the Grand Prix podcast influences me how I view Formula One, just to say.
Well, probably does.
Yes.
It's certainly more entertaining than Formula One at the minute.
Oh, fuck it. Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah. I don't know if we want to talk about Formula One because everything outside of it is just more exciting than what's on the track. But anyway, we're not talking about Formula One. This is not the Grand Prix podcast. I don't want to take away the IP away from Elton. He's the one that runs the podcast. And anyone who wants to know who's Elton, where's this mythical Elton? No, I do like doing that for.
Seaside?
So what?
To be beside the seaside?
Yeah. Yes. Do I like the seaside? No, I don't know if I like sand enough. No.
Of course, it's irritating and it gets everywhere.
Yes.
These are so much more fun when Charlotte or Tom's here as well.
I know, right? I did try to get Charlotte, but she's currently at a wedding at the moment. Not her wedding. Sorry, before I like break anyone's heart or I don't want illusion or anything like. She's doing a photo shoot at a wedding. No, she's the photographer for the wedding. That's it. Yeah, English Ed. Yes. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm still thinking of doing something like that for my birthday one, but I don't know because I kind of want to do the Instagram live to be us doing something. I can't remember what I was going to do with the people that I had in mind, but yeah, that was it. The other thing I was going to do was somehow get only 3 other people. That's it. And I've been watching a lot of okay, back in the day, and I mean when I say back in the day, about 2-3 years ago, I had the opinion that why would anyone watch gamers online? I do not understand why would anyone watch gamers online. Now I'm slightly hooked on one or two gamers that I've come across the on the internet. Have you heard of the internet?
The internet. Have I heard of the internet? Yes, I believe I have heard of it.
That is good. I just want to make sure you're still alive. And I keep watching the same Uno game footage over and over again because it makes me laugh so much. And I wonder if I can half recreate that type of mayhem and chaos by playing a game like Uno or some other game like that. What else was I thinking of doing? But all of this requires a lot of planning and
coordination
as well. And no disrespect to the people I invite, I do expect them to have a life outside of moi, of this podcast, cosplay. That is fine. I'm okay with that. The amount of times I've asked people and they go, oh, I'm busy with that. Fine, not a problem. I do not take offense to that. So, yes, that type of coordination really does do I have time for that? So, yeah. So that was one idea, which probably won't actually happen now. Yeah, I think the Instagram Live still needs coordination, but it won't be as bad as if I was trying to do a live stream game type of thing and take the audio.
Well, you know how the monarch king at the minute, at least the time of recording, has 2 birthdays. Maybe you should do that. Adopt a second birthday and have your second birthday be during the week of MCM, and then you can just do your live stream while at a con, and that could be a birthday stream.
To be fair, that'll be when the 200th episode of the podcast will drop. It's MCM London.
Okay, we'll see. There you go. There's your. In fact, maybe this is the opportunity for you to finally do your live show that you've been threatening for the past 3 years.
Yeah, actually, talking about that. So when I applied for my press pass for MCM, hang on, let me just check my emails. I need to check my emails with this. Still nothing. Okay, that's good. No news is not bad news. Part of the form they do say if you have anything you'd like to do on a live set. I did volunteer to do a live podcast there.
Cool.
So yeah, yes.
That'd be nice.
Yes. I think when I did that podcast of planning it with you and CJ, you scared the bejesus out of me, and I was like, I'm not doing this now. I've now started to calm down a little bit and go, okay, I think I'm ready, but not London.
How the fuck did I scare the bejesus out of you?
I didn't know I had bejesus in me in the first place. So I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. But I was just, but I was thinking if I was going to do it, I'll probably do it like an MCM Birmingham or a smaller event, maybe like MegaCon Live, although I think I've offended them so much, I'm never going back there again.
Well, what did you do at MegaCon?
I slag them off quite often.
Oh, okay.
Yes. I've repeatedly said, which I'm very alone with this opinion, but I'm finding my allies now. But I keep saying that MegaCon Live events are not that good. I don't think it's worth the money that they are pricing. If it was half the price compared to an MCM, I'd actually think, for what it's worth, I agree. But because it's only a couple of quid cheaper than an MCM weekend, and I feel like I get more out of an MCM weekend compared to a MegaCon Live. Okay, there's fuckload of people at an MCM event. I totally understand that, and people hate that. Totally understand that. That's your thing. If you want less people, fine. But for me, I want to do more. I want to see more. I want to see more people. I want to see more cosplay. I'm willing to pay that money. So, well, I say I'm willing. I've continually said that.
I was going to say, I thought you got press passes, didn't you?
I know, I was going to say, and I've always threatened that if I don't get a press pass, I ain't going. So, I know I'm full of contradiction. I am, but if
That's
I
one word
was,
for it.
I know, I know. But no, I mean, if I was willing to pay, or if I had one set of money and it can only go to either an MCM event or a MegaCon Live, as much as a MegaCon Live is cheaper, I'd probably go to an MCM more. So that's probably why I've not going to get a live stage at a MegaCon Live, and I think I'm soon going to get blacklisted. If not soon, already have been. So yeah.
Well, there you go. But of course, it's entirely mute, given that it won't be your 200th anniversary episode at either of those ones. So it's MCM or bust for that.
It very much so. Yes. So I still like to do the 200 one locally in my bedroom, in my flat, in my home, and all that.
Okay.
You always have an opinion, now you don't. Why?
You've spent the last 20 minutes berating me for my opinion, so...
Yeah, but it's never stopped you from listening to me.
Oh, I'm still listening.
Yeah, true. But true. Anyway, so have you got any idea? Like, I'm looking for idea. I don't know why I'm coming to you, but yeah, do you like those ideas? Do you think I could do a different way of doing my birthday or my 200th episode? Like the last time I've done a mega celebration episode, you were on it. You brought Tom, and I think you were going to try.
I believe I had a special guest who was unexpected, who might have sounded a lot like Tom.
Very true. Sorry. Yes. Sorry. Yes. I haven't spoken to him for a long while.
Oh, how dare you! Your whole friend.
I know.
So I would. So personally speaking, I think separate your birthday from the podcast. Your birthday, go spend it with your friends. Do something else. Go throw an axe at something, or just have fun on your birthday. I would divorce the birthday from the podcast thing altogether. For your 200th episode, though, I guess it kind of depends. I perhaps maybe put it out to the community, to the listeners. Maybe you could do a live event. So as you said, like an Instagram live thing where people could come in and join you on that. You could do a Twitch stream. I believe you're quite the streamer these days, aren't you?
No.
Oh, it's TikTok that you do, isn't it? It's one of those two.
Kind of, yeah. But I don't have enough I don't have enough followers to do a TikTok live.
Okay.
I can do an Instagram live. I own a Steam Deck. I've never tried a Twitch. Well, I've technically had, but it failed badly, and I didn't know what I was doing or talking. So yeah, but carry on.
But
sorry.
still, my point is, you could do a live-ish sort of event where people just drop in and record the audio from that and then put it out. So yeah, I'd do something along those lines. I'm sure out of the many people you've had on the podcast in the past, one of them will have a Twitch channel that you can hijack for the purposes of a podcast.
Ooh, that's not a bad idea. Ooh, sorry, not making notes. Generally have to make notes because I will forget.
Happens when you get to a certain age.
Oh, God, tell me about it. Hijack someone's Twitch, and I know who has a Twitch. Charlotte.
That's pretty much who I was thinking as well.
Oh, good. I generally thought I pressed cancel, not close, thinking it deleted the note I created. Cool. Okay, cool. No, the reason I want to do a birthday podcast because I love celebrating my birthday. I think I can't remember if I said this before. I remember spending one birthday alone in my bedroom, playing video games and listening to music, and I went, "Wow, this is shit," and I said, "I'm never doing that again." So. I want to celebrate.
My point is, you don't spend your birthday alone. You go out and do something with your friends. You don't spend it at home in your room recording a podcast.
Oh no, but I record this like a week before, ready for the birthday podcast.
If that's what you want to do, then go ahead and do it. As ever,
well, you know what I'm doing for my birthday.
I do.
You do?
I don't know. Do I?
Yeah, you wanted to come, or you put your name down.
Thing.
Yeah, that thing.
Yeah. I
don't mind telling people.
No. It's fine. Look, what you get from your free time, that's between you and your God. No, but I'm just, for the purposes of a podcast discussion, is what I was saying. Is I think if you've got the 200th thing and your birthday stream coming up along at the same time, if you want to do a podcast for your birthday, I just don't know. I don't know what you would do to differentiate it from your 200th episode.
Oh, very much so. Yes, I know that is. I think that's the issue. It's a shame that my birthday and MCM were so close together when I started these podcasts. So,
how dare they?
Yeah, it's MCM's fault because the reason why. Okay, so back in the day when the first podcast dropped, I did it on what it would have been the weekend of MCM London 2020, and that's where it started from. So, yes. So this is MCM's fault.
Yeah, well, as in so many things in life.
Yeah. So, cool. All right. You give me some food for thought. That's fine.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Thank you. Was there something you would like to talk about that I can listen to and give you feedback on?
We don't want to talk about Formula One because fuck that noise.
Seriously, really, fuck that noise.
Yeah. I know what we can gripe about. I've got a thing I want to gripe about.
Go on then. Canon. It's better than Nikon.
Close, but not quite. So you're familiar with in a storytelling point of view. There is a thing known as canon. Where people, comic book films. There's it is canonical that Peter Parker receives his powers by being bitten by a radioactive spider, or it's canonical that Batman's parents were both killed by someone in a dark alley after seeing Joker. There's what is known as canon, which I suppose feeds into the lore of storytelling.
Absolutely. By the way, before you continue, spoiler alert, those two things happen. Carry on.
Yes, those things happened, one in the 30s and one in the 60s. Well done for catching up. But I've noticed of late, a lot of people using canon to, I suppose to a certain extent, gatekeep, but also, browbeat people to only enjoy media in a certain way. And I got to tell you, it's annoying me a little bit. I'm finding it increasingly tiresome when people bring up discussions of, oh, that breaks canon or that's not canon. And look, if anyone who's listened to me before, you're going to know this is going to lead around to Star Trek, because that's generally what I talk about. But it's been it's been a bit of a bugbear of late in the world of Star Trek. With Star Trek Discovery coming to an end in the upcoming series. And inevitably, any discussion of Star Trek Discovery will result in some people saying, oh, it sucks because it breaks canon, or I don't like this because of canon. And yeah, it annoys me that canon is now being used as this curmudgeon to basically batter down anything they don't like and they view as too woken about. And my counterpoint is, I saw at the beginning of the year Godzilla -1, fantastic film, highly recommend it. And that is a great little film about an exploration of PTSD and trauma and a country coming to terms with its past and a changing place in the world. And then you have Godzilla X Con, which is a buddy cop movie about a giant dinosaur and a giant monkey who beat up people with a metal fist. And I think it's wonderful that both of those things could both exist at the same time, and no one gets bent out of shape over the canon of it. It's like they're two stories and they're doing their thing, and why can't we just do that? And so I suppose it's canon is just annoying me. I think we are too precious about it. I think instead, embrace the multiverse, embrace the fact that you could tell stories with a slightly different point of view and perspective, and stop getting so bent out of shape over it.
I am with you 100%. I agree that there are certain people in certain communities are gatekeeping, just fans of certain fandoms, and it really just, I get the reason why they do it, because they just want to protect their idealism of that fandom and things like that. I don't know if we ever spoke about this in person or on the podcast, so I'm going to say two things I was going to say to you. At least one thing to you.
Okay.
And I want to see how you. Oh, I think they come from the same fandom as well. Actually, are you a Doctor Who fan?
I am a. I don't know if I would use the term fan. I watch Doctor Who. I enjoy Doctor Who, but I don't. And so by that metric, yes, I would say I'm a fan of Doctor Who.
Okay, no, that's fine. As long as you've watched it, I'm about to say at least this thing. And this was what's so divisive at the time, and I still don't think people understood it. And even I'm not totally on board with it, but I accept it. If I say the phrase "the timeless child," that broke the community so much, and no, but that's an example of it, that people lost their shit over it. And like I said, I don't quite agree with that storyline, but what I can accept is that it kind of makes sense in a narrative sense. That they try to make it so that it works in a storyline way, and in my brain, as long as it makes sense, they made it to make sense, I will accept it. But I understand why a lot of fans lost their shit over it.
Well, the Doctor Who is always a kind of a special case with that, and same with Star Trek to a certain extent, because these are shows which have been kind of running more or less continuously for 60 odd years. I mean, okay, there's been breaks in between, but effectively it's been a single timeline with some wibbly wobbly stuff here and there.
Yes,
to get around it, and Doctor Who's always had a very kind of loose association with it, just because it wasn't all that important, which is what I kind of liked about it. And I really think that this dogma about canon is relatively recent. I think it's certainly from the age of the internet, where you've got Wikipedias and memory alphas and TARDISpedias and shit like that, which you can go and look up facts.
Yeah,
and it just results in people getting so utterly obsessed with the minutiae of oh well, so and so was born on this date. So a prime example from Star Trek, because again, Star Trek's just what I know, is in Star Trek 4, Kirk makes a quote along the lines of, "Are you ever from outer space?" He goes, "No, I'm born from Iowa. I only work in outer space." And then when the 09 film came along, it shows Kirk is being born in space, and people just get really bent out of shape about that. And it's like,
but
whether or not Kirk was, but Well, there's a reason for it, but it's like whether or not Kirk was born on a spaceship or on Earth, it doesn't really matter to the character who is Kirk.
No.
But, you know,
Yeah.
a lot of people, and look, the 09 film goes out of its way to try and explain the disparities between them. There's a quote from Leonard Nimoy. Yeah, canon is only important to certain people because they have to cling to their knowledge of a minutiae. Open your mind, be a Star
Yes.
Trek fan. Yeah, and that's kind of much more what I think is important about it. And also, I don't see any reason why you can't just accept be immersed in the story that's being told. And I don't get, kind of hung up. I saw Dune Part 2 recently, which was a fantastic film. I really enjoy it. It changes some details from the books. For the better, I think, in some ways, not in other ways. But it's like...
Well, yeah, carry on.
No, but my point is, I think as a society or who consume media at the minute, there's a battle going on. I was going to say very dramatic. There's a battle for the very soul at the moment. But it's the battle between content and story.
Yes.
And I think canon is important to content. It's not so important to story.
Yes.
And I think content has to be continually ongoing and people have to be invested in the content. Content is like live service stuff. It wants you to be invested and involved and watching everything. The Marvel Cinematic Universe has, at this point, now become content. Whereas, up until I would say probably Avengers Endgame, it was a story. It had a beginning, it had a middle, it had an end. After it ended, though, it has now kind of just become content. I'm not saying there's not good stuff in there. There's stuff I've really enjoyed and it's great. But it's less involved about just telling a story. Because to tell a story, there has to be an ending to that story. And when a story ends, you can stop. You no longer have to purchase for stuff. And that's very bad for capitalism. And canon, I think, has just become another tool with which to get people to invested into the content mine, because if you want to keep up with what's canon, you have to watch all of it. You have to watch all the content and to know all of the stuff and to know all the details and all that. And I find that very disheartening. And as someone who tells stories and as a storyteller who has written stuff, I find that very disheartening. And it frustrates me somewhat. So yeah, that has kind of been a bit of a bugbear of late. It is people getting so bent out of shape over canon.
So, a couple of things I want to pick up on, and it's really interesting now that I'm just thinking about it. So we both watched Star Trek, we both watched Discovery, both watched Strange New Worlds, which is set in the past. Well, I say it's very confusing to say the past when it's in the future, but it's set in Star Trek's past before, TOS, those old scientists.
Mm-hmm.
And you're right that everyone just got so bent out of shape about how Discovery was just like breaking canon and all that, and yet Strange New Worlds come around. No one's really complained too much about canon. They just accept it.
Oh, look, we had this back in 2005 with Enterprise. Back then, everyone was kind of like so annoyed about Enterprise. Oh, you're changing canon, and Kirk's Enterprise was the first Starship Enterprise, and so forth. And now, Enterprise is enjoying something of a renaissance where people are having very fond memories of it. It's the same with the Star Wars prequels. At the time, everyone hated them, and now with the benefit of hindsight, and the people who grew up with them are like really enjoying it.
Yeah.
And it will be the same with Discovery, I'm sure. But it's certainly with the nature of the internet and Twitter and all that, where it's very easy to have your very loud opinions in front of people, and that is frustrating.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So yeah, but what I was going to say is that I think what I was trying to get at is that how I think some people's narrative about canon only fits a narrative because they either like or dislike a show.
Mm-hmm.
In the instance of Discovery, because like you mentioned, not a lot of people seem to like Discovery. I love Discovery. I love it breathed new life into Star Trek. But I do have friends who really hate it because they think it's awake. I'm not saying woke because it's grammatically wrong. But also, I hate this phrase woke because all it means to me is to do better. And if you hate to do better, you're the problem. Anyway, I'm stepping off my soapbox.
No, keep your soapbox out. Look. Before it was called woke, it was called being politically correct.
Yeah, exactly. It's all the same phrase. It's just, oh, god damn it. But anyway, Strange New World is So I only paused because is it Strange New Worlds or just Strange New World?
Strange New Worlds.
Oh, it's plural. Sorry.
Yeah.
So Strange New Worlds. I think I don't know why people like that more and not complain about the canon too much. There is one episode they had to. No, they had to fudge it, but also put it back into line of the canon of Khan, wasn't it? And I love how they did that, and I found it quite amusing that they tried to do that. But yeah, go on.
I'm not going to get into the reasons with regards to Discovery and Strange New Worlds because, as you say, it's going to end up calling a lot of people racist. So we won't do that.
Yes,
I will say this about Strange New Worlds. I think Strange New Worlds season. Look, firstly, I love the cast of Strange New Worlds. You know the old meme of my sexuality is the cast of the 1999 film The Mummy. Well, the updated version of that is my sexuality is the cast of Strange New Worlds. But that's besides the point. The Strange New Worlds, I think, had a chance to be a really strong story. If it was just a single season, and the narrative arc of that season was Pike coming to terms with his destiny, coming to terms with the fact that he would have to end up as a paraplegic in a wheelchair, unable to speak outside of beeping, and he had to accept that destiny for the greater good of the galaxy.
The greater good. Sorry, carry on.
Yes. And they had a fantastic episode at the end of season 1, which kind of encapsulated that. The problem we now have, though, as we've gone through season 2 and into season 3, it's like, what's the story you're telling? You're no longer telling a story. You're making content now.
I slightly disagree with you on that, but I'm allowing you to have your opinion. That's fine. I'm sure you'll allow me to have my opinion on that.
No, you're completely wrong there.
Okay.
No, but my point is, season 1 had a dramatic overarching storyline.
Absolutely,
okay?
Yes.
And we got to the end of that story at the end of season 1. Look, the Quality of Mercy is one of the best episodes of Star Trek, period. I love it. It's amazing. It's a great twist. It's a revisit of a classic original episode. And it shows a character who has reached the end of his journey, has finished it. Season 2 has some fun episodes in it, but thematically and narratively, it is an order of magnitude weaker than season 1 because it's now lacking that direction. It no longer has that overarching storyline behind it, unless the overarching storyline they're going to is, the Gorn are bad, okay?
Well, I think that is it. And I think it's kind of a slow burn type of story. I know what you're talking about, and I do agree with you on it. I do agree.
My point is, I think once again, it's this content versus story. There was an opportunity to tell a really, really strong story, and then once you finish that story, and maybe this is something else you want to talk about. As a society, we do not like endings. We don't like the story to come to an end. And I think that's an interesting exploration which goes much deeper than just, the end of stories. It's related to death. It's related to mortality and stuff like that. I think that's all part of it. But it's also down to the fact that in a capitalist society, they want you invested and to continue to buy the thing. They want you to continue to watch the thing. They want you to continue to buy all of the things that connect to it. Because if you haven't watched the TV series which connects into the comic book, which is referenced in the book, how else will you know how C-3PO got his red fucking arm? Unless you do all of those things, you're just you're not getting the sense of a full story. And I found that incredibly frustrating, and it waters down the story. And as someone who wants to tell stories and to experience good stories, it really frustrates me. It's my biggest complaint with Discovery as well. Season 1 had a strong story to tell. From the pushback they got from that, the story they started telling in season 2 was, look, I love Pike in that show, and I love vignettes, but the overarching story is kind of terrible. And then it's never been as narratively strong as I think as it was in that first season when it had a story to tell.
See, I know this is not meant to be a Star Trek episode, but I've really found season 1 a little over the place, 2 stronger, and it's not peaked as good as that since for me. But that's personal opinion and things like that. So yeah.
No, I mean, I really enjoyed season 2 when I was watching it, but season 2 is one that if you watch, as soon as you start putting on any logic thread there, it all really unravels very quickly.
Fair enough.
But yeah, as you say, different strokes for different folks.
Yeah.
But as I say, that is a complaint I've had as far as that goes, and the whole canon policing thing now as well.
Oh God, yeah. Just don't do it.
Well, people shouldn't do that. It's like,
just let people enjoy it for what
and what annoys me even more so is that we have now kind of firmly established the idea of a multiverse being a thing.
Yes.
Where you can have different characters and different versions of characters from different multiverses, and can we just embrace that? Tell me a story. So here's what I would have done with the MCU. Okay, if I was in charge, I would have finished.
Oh dear God,
the Infinity War saga with Endgame. Tony Stark's funeral, and then going forward from that, I might have kept the Spider-Man films in that universe, finger quoting, but then I would have just gone off and started telling new stories, and maybe I'd have kept some of the characters with the actors that they currently have. Maybe I'd have recast some of them and I just embrace that multiverse sense of it, and that's kind of how you would build up to a multiverse saga rather than what they've done, because they fell into this trap of thinking they could do no wrong and thinking that what we need to do is we need to have this TV show so people will watch this so that they will understand this reference in this film, and they completely lost focus on telling the story, and that frustrated the hell out of me.
Yeah. Oh no, yes, because when it was just the films, at least it was just one medium that they could just go, to understand this reference, you just need to see this film, which is you could either buy the film or watch it in some whatever. Whereas now everything's behind, not everything, but when things are behind a paid wall like Disney Plus, and they say, to understand this reference, you need to go see this thing that's behind a paid wall, and you have to put more money into something that you probably don't need or have, what's the point, and things like,
I mean, the worst example is probably, you see, I'm one of the few people that loved WandaVision. I think WandaVision was probably the best of the Disney Plus shows.
You're part of the majority. I'm part of the minority.
Okay, fine. Well, you're wrong, but that's fine. But the issue there is, with WandaVision, I thought it was a really strong and powerful show. But then when you get to Multiverse of Madness, they have to assume anyone watching the film maybe hasn't seen WandaVision or hasn't invested. And they kind of have to disregard all of that storytelling which took place there for the purposes of that. And I don't have a problem with that if you establish or like I said, feed into the idea that they're different characters from a different multiverse. They're just telling a different story. But we don't do that because it's all connected. And that is just incredibly frustrating.
Do you know why the Multiverse Story Car Park of Madness was filmed in that way? You talk about how no one's seen the TV show when they... Yeah, that included the director. He never saw the TV show, disregarded it, and did his own thing. I'm like, what the fuck was that all about? Why did you do... Oh! So frustrating. Anyway, I did have a point, and I totally forgot, and I was going to say something, but that's it. Yeah, it has just come back. I literally had the same thought about how would I resolve the MCU problem. Is just leave Endgame as it is. Stop there. Create a new multiverse version of the Marvel universe. You can still pluck the same actors to continue the same role, because the same thing about James Bond. So when James Bond of oh god, I almost said Timothy Dalton. What's his name? Pierce Brosnan. When his tenure finished, who was Dame Judi Dench. Yeah. And when Daniel Craig came, Judi Dench was still there, and it was meant to be a prequel to everything that came before it. And people just went, "What? How can you have this?" I don't care. She's a great M. I loved her. Why?
There was a rumor which I thought was amazing, and I wish they'd have done this, where they were going to bring Pierce Brosnan back as the bad guy in a Bond film, and he was going to be a retired MI6 agent. He was basically going to be a retired 00 agent, and it was going to lean into that idea that he was Bond and he'd been left out to dry and kind of gone rogue. Basically, a slight retread of Goldfinger, but Goldeneye. But I would have loved that because that'd be such a fascinating thing, and Pierce Brosnan would have absolutely nailed that. I thought that would have been great.
Oh no, that would have been absolutely brilliant. Oh, that would have been cool. Oh,
but the thing is, if you were to make Bond today, like if Bond was to start today as a new franchise, they would never do the recasting of Bond in the same way that they currently do. They would milk every inch out of the actor playing Bond for as much as they could do, and then if they had to recast it, they would recast as close as possible to who had been there before.
Oh, today, yeah, no, I see what you're saying. Yeah, so I thought you meant from previous.
No, they yeah. So, but yeah,
I don't know. I don't know because I think we're going. I say way off topic. There is no topic, but I don't know. I think there's still there's a section of people who are Bond fans who don't like Daniel Craig because he's not because he's blonde hair, blue eyed, rather than the what's described in the books and things like that. And again, I don't give a shit about things like that. Again, this is going back to the original there. Canon, you don't need to stick to it strict. Oh, yes. Anyway.
Deep breaths.
I know. So I don't want to get angry. Oh, I told the doctor I wouldn't get angry or get stressed, something like that. Yeah. Should we change subject?
Yeah, what else is on your mind?
Well, I think I can't remember if I brought this up, but I don't want people to think that I'm quitting cosplay photography. All right. So I think I have mentioned before I'm doing less photography, but I don't want people to think that I'm quite quitting cosplay photography. But it just seems like by accident I have. So since January, this came out of a conversation with a friend, and they were saying, "Oh, you seem to be doing a lot of that, doing photography for your other brand recently." And I went, "Yeah, I have actually. Yeah, I've not really been to Comic-Con recently. It's like I went to 2 days of MegaCon London. Yeah, MegaCon Live London, but I only took took pictures of 5 to 10 people, if I'm honest. If that. I still need to send them their photos. Whoops. I've just gone through AnimeCon UK photos I took in London, and that's again a handful of people. Again, eight people I've probably shot with, or 8 groups of people. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I edited all the MegaCon Live photos over a weekend. Practically, I sat in prep, and things like that. I just done. I went, oh, this is quick. This is nice and simple. That's fun. And it's got nice to get through that. But for me to get through that, or get to that point, I did my the World Tour of Manchester. I got those done in about. I just spent every evening as I could getting through those photos. It took ages to get through those photos, and then kind of like burnt myself out a little bit. So that's why I'm like looking at these cosplay photos. Oh, I don't know if I can be bothered or not. And I'm now doing it now with the AnimeCon UK photos. I'm like, oh, can I be bothered? Blah 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 blah. And now I've done another shoot recently for that brand, and I'm already clocking up about altogether. So I did 2 different shoots over a, shall we say, 7-day period. And I think I'm already clocking in about 300 photos that I'm going to edit at least. I'm going to see if I can reduce it down. And I'm going to a different conversation on a different podcast that Kevin Pack, and he goes, what brings you joy? What brings you happiness? And I was thinking about this recently, and I'm thinking, oh God, I like this more than cosplay photography. but I'm not to say I dislike cosplay photography. I don't know. I think there's a part of me that kind of just needs maybe a rest from it, maybe, or do I talk about this? Fuck it.
May as well. You start, so you finish.
Yeah, might as well. No, I was talking to another friend about how the community is just a little toxic at the moment, little self-entitled, and I definitely did a full episode on that one, and I'm surprised I haven't got any hate for it yet. Or is this the reason why no one wants to do my podcast anymore? But yeah, I'm just like, I don't know if that's also contributing to me going, I just want to just leave that alone now. I'm going to play with this new shiny thing and just leave that alone until things get better. And I'm worried things won't get better. That's all, really, I think.
Okay. I mean, for what it's worth, I haven't done as much cons pretty much since COVID than I was doing prior to that. And I think partly that's just a natural thing. We evolve, we change, we move on, we get different interests and ideas. As much as I know you'd love to take it, doing the photos and the community side of it, and as much as you try your best, there's only so many ways you can take pictures at a Comic-Con.
Oh God, yeah.
It's just the nature of it. It's
100%.
And I mean, I think at this point, those grey walls that you love outside the front, you've worn through those with the amount of pictures you take there.
Fuck you piece of shit.
I mean, at this point, you probably should go back to taking pictures there because it's the only place you don't actually take pictures of anymore. But my point is, there's only so many ways you can take pictures there, and I think it's much more rewarding and engaging to go out and take pictures with people outside of cons. And I also think a part of it is also down to the fact of if you're arranging to do a photo outside of a con, you're both much more invested in it because you've gone out of your way to go there, to take the picture. You can spend more time with the person and get the best pictures, and they're paying you for your time, which means they acknowledge and are willing to pay for your time. And I think Comic-Con photography has maybe become a bit of a chore for you.
I think you're right about that, but I'm just a bit confused about the paying bit. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, you can choose to be paid if you're not taking pictures at Comic-Con.
What? Since when? No, I get what you're saying. No, I really do. It's thing is, I can also say about the other brand I have, that's starting to become a bit of a chore now as well because I'm not charging for anything. So I do.
I have a name of this other brand. Is this a?
Oh, it's HKC. I've mentioned it many times. I just.
No, it's just the way you keep saying and my other brand. It feels very much like the
unspoken child in the corner.
Yes.
So when you find out there's a fourth Gib or something like that, Gib brother, should I say? Oh God, I've just alienated a lot of people who go, "What's a Gib? Who's the Bee Gees?" Please tell me you know who I'm talking about, right? Please.
Oh, I do know. I'm just enjoying your panic at the minute.
Oh, good, right.
No one was still listening after that Formula One stuff at the beginning. So
no, true. Okay, let's bring it more up to date. Those who do still. So finding out there's like a sixth Hems brother or something like that.
How many Hemsworths are there?
I think at least 3.
Okay.
There's Liam, Luke, Barry.
Well, there's definitely a Chris.
Chris, yes. That's the one I couldn't think of. And there's the famous one. Anyway, what was I saying? They are starting to become a bit of a chore, both brands, if I'm honest. But I just get more enjoyment by the other way. Because I think you're right. Again, this was said on the other podcast. I get more enjoyment doing a location shoot or studio shoot than I do at Comic-Con. Because actually I'm slowing down, I'm thinking more and enjoying more rather than thinking I'm actually rushing around. Like I said to myself this year, I'm going to go do less Comic-Con and just do other things like my other brand, HKC, just so that Andy doesn't think I've sworn off the naughty child. But this weekend is, as this goes out, the weekend coming up is MegaCon Live Birmingham. I was due to go. I'm now not going. I've decided not to go, and I just went, sod it, I don't care. I don't get any enjoyment going to that event. I don't know why I would spend money or waste money buying a train ticket, going up there, getting a hotel, going to the event, coming back home, and then go, I have all these photos, and I don't feel joy from it. So, and I think that's why I'm more worried about that is going to be a continuing trend with other events, which I kind of don't want it to happen because I really enjoyed my time at AnimeCon UK. I always enjoy MCM London because I feel like I get to see everyone, work with good people, and as much as I do shoot at the same places throughout the venue, it's a more varied location compared to anything else. But yeah, I will admit, the other thing I was going to say is actually the reason why I'm enjoying my photography a little bit more through the other branding is because I feel like I'm actually setting up more engagement with models that I want to collab with, and I'm actually getting more successes. Whereas if I try with cosplays, they say, "Oh yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, of course we'll collab," and then nothing happened. And I messaged them, and I just been left unread, which is fine, not a problem. Again, there are things outside of social media I don't know about, which I have no idea why, they're left me on. There could be a legitimate reason. That's fine. That's not a problem. But the same token is like, I can't be left hanging there waiting. I need to move on with my life.
I mean, certainly as far as MCM goes, I still go because I like to, see my friends and hang out and see people. But I certainly don't put as much effort into cosplay for MCM.
Yeah.
I tend to go much more casual, mostly because I want to have a walk around inside, see what's available, see some of the stands and everything.
Yeah.
I and again, this is very much for poor me's, but I'm a shall we say slightly older male cosplayer, and the things I cosplay are just not particularly in demand in terms of the hot stuff. No one is rushing up to take my picture at all, so I don't feel the need to.
The need for speed. Sorry, carry on.
I don't feel the need to chase the kind of attentions of photographers and everything. If there's photographers there, if there's friends, then I might ask to take a picture. If someone comes up to me and asks for a picture, then fine. But if I want a picture of a cosplay that I've done, I'll just schedule a shoot away from the con.
Yeah.
And that's getting better. So last year I did Star Trek Las Vegas,
Yes.
which was a great experience. And I know you've spoken in the past about how American cons are different to British ones.
Yes.
This was night and day, and a very, very different vibe. So much more relaxed as well. Like just a generally less chill, a more chill environment. And also, it's a convention which takes place in the hotel, so you're kind of you're staying in the location that the con is, more so even than say Excel and all that. And that was just so much more enjoyable experience overall. That when I was looking at MCM, I'm like, yeah, MCM's the same every fucking year, isn't it? Maybe different this year, but we'll talk about me extra as we said. But I just don't feel the need to go all out for it.
No,
I mean, maybe in a couple of years when we get some big anniversary dates are coming up, I might want to, do some group stuff as I've done in the past. Where we all kind of suit up in the same costumes. We did that for Alien for the 40th anniversary, which was great. But aside from that, I'm not feeling a huge amount of pressure to do it, and I definitely get you. There are other avenues to explore my creativity, which aren't necessarily involving cosplay or Comic Cons.
Yeah. I now remember the other thing I was going to talk about, but we've run out of time. Basically, I was going to ask. Well, I was going to say, should I change my logo, my podcast logo, the display picture? I've noticed a lot of people put their faces on it, and I don't know if I want to put my face on it. That was it. Yeah, let's leave it at that. Anyway, thank you very much, Andy, for chatting to me on this unscripted podcast. Yeah, we got there. Well, I got there. I don't know about you, but yeah.
I don't even want to know where you've been.
Oh, God, let's not go down that road. If people need to find you on the social medias, they want to find you for talking about maybe Star Trek. I don't know if you've written a book recently. Or
I might have done. They don't want to come and find me on the social medias. But if they want to read the book, you can just search for the Wolf 359 Project, where I wrote a book, and you can read it for free, despite Paramount trying to sue me. So there you go.
Oh God, serious? Oh yes, we've spoken about this. Yes.
Oh yeah. There was a whole thing.
Yeah.
I did a podcast on my own podcast about it. Eddie's been on a couple of times. I recommend the Ghost of a Shell one. He likes that one a lot.
No, leave that one alone. God, no. Oh God, don't. You've been on talking about your other podcast. Do you want to promote that one? Or you're going to promote it?
Oh, well, yeah, there's The Great Derelict, which is a podcast about everything and anything to do with science fiction. The most recent episode of time of recording was me and Jesse Earle talking about Dune Part 2, which was a very fun discussion. There's also the Grand Prix podcast where we talk about Formula One stuff, and Eddie sometimes substitutes for me when I'm gallivanting around the world. And, I was going to say the Masters of the Air, but that's just finished now, and no one was listening to that anyway. So there you go. Yeah,
I didn't know you're a World War One expert.
Two. World War
II. Sorry, my mistake. But yes. I didn't realise you were an expert in that.
Absolutely.
Yes. Someone should put a comment on that on the Apple podcast thing.
It was you, wasn't it? I knew it.
Oh God! Could you imagine if it was me? Actually, oh dear. Would I enjoy that more? I don't know. Anyway, if people need to find me on the social medias, if you go to foodandcosplay.org/links, that's where you find all my social media links, such as Twitter, Threads, Instagram, Facebook, Tumblr, places like that. If you go to Yeah, I sell fans. Yeah, only fans though, not hand fan. Oh, what? I don't know. Aircons. That's it. That's what I meant to say. If you go to food and cosplay, now what you've done, Andy? What have you made me do? I was in a flow and you put me off. No. If you go to
Nothing worse than being put off your stroke.
damn straight. If you go to foodandcosplay.org, that's you'll find daily cosplay photos, articles, things like that. I'm hoping to be publishing when my dates where you can book me at MCM London. I'm still waiting for the email from MCM to tell me if I've got it or not. So we'll see. Fingers crossed.
I mean, if I'm there, I'll be there with my industry pass. So, and I work so hard for that.
You really don't. You have to pay for that though, don't you?
I do.
Yeah. Where am I up to next? So, if you go to foodandcosplay.org/podcast, you'll find previously recorded podcasts with Andy, with other guests, other topics. If you go to patreon.com/foodandcosplay, you'll hear the podcast section that I'll be doing with Andy, what we're alluding to about some spicy thing at MCM and other things.
I mean, you're assuming it's spicy.
Yeah, well,
I don't know how spicy it's going to be at MCM, but there you go.
Yeah, true. Yeah. So, if you are not,
look, at this point, there's so much latex at MCM. This was literally the logical next step.
Is there though? There's not that much latex. I just seem to
and you would know.
Yeah, I should say they seem to find me, not the other way around. But let's not go down that road either. So, yeah. God, oh God, does that mean I'm a latex magnet? Can you really be? Anyway, so so if you're not going to join us on that podcast, just we're going to say goodbye here. But please come and join us. It's going to be a lot more fun. I promise. No, I can't make that promise, but it'll be it'll be there. It'll be there. So yeah. So I'm going to say goodbye, and he's going to say goodbye. So bye, guys.
Goodbye there.
Oh, you son of a bitch.